morning, everyone. How are you this morning? My name is Debbie Scott, and I'm your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Brigden, Ontario. And it is Wednesday, January the 14th. We're almost to the middle of the month already. Time is just flying by. So this week, I have been playing with the Made with Love suite. And there's so many amazing goodies in here. I've had so much fun with this one. I really like this theme. It's actual suite, Made with Love suite. It's got the stamp set and dies, the gusseted bags, the embossing folder, the embellishments, the ribbon, and the beautiful paper. You can buy it all together or you can buy each item individually as well. And then if you go to the back, this is our scrapbooking from scratch section of the catalog, and this is where you can kind of pick and choose things individually as well. This one has the cardstock separately. That's always our two-tone cardstock, so it shows it's a little bit lighter on the back than the true color. You will get the same DSP, but they usually add on one sticker sheet as well, and then it's a different stamp set that's back here, and then it shows you cute little example there that they have made with that. All right, so I am making a 12 by 12 layout today. Excuse me, I need a little drink. And this one might take me a little while, so I'm gonna get started. So I've got the paper here to show you, and I've got, this is part of the suite here, the Endless Love stamp set and dies. Then this was the one you saw at the back of the catalog, Love Story. I really love this little arrow. We're going to use that today. We're going to use I Adore You today. Some cute little set around words in there. And then they also have a big Valentine's Day stamp set as well, and we're going to use that. That's going to be the title for my scrapbook page. So this is the paper here. You get 6 sheets, double-sided, 2 of each. So we have the X's and O's, and then the beautiful stripe on that one. And then we have some polka dots and some beautiful hearts. We have kind of a stripe dash pattern there, and some more hearts, and then hearts in the line, and some more there. Lots of hearts in this one. Some hearts here. I think maybe this is flirty, and then we have some nice little flowers there in the bubble bath, and then we have arrows. And this was my favorite sheet out of the pack. It does like an ombre of all the colors. So that was the sheet that I used in my project for the design team. So I love that one. So to start off, what we are going to do today, I grabbed just a retired piece of cardstock. This is, Sahara sand, possibly, I forget now. But this isn't going to show in my on my layout. So I've cut it down 1/2 inch on 2 sides, and so that's 1/4 inch all the way around, just so that I have some things to adhere my paper to, but it's not going to show. You could leave it exactly 12 by 12. I just like to cut it down so that when I layer my 12 by 12 white on top, there's less of a chance that I'm going to have it showing around the outside. So that's just a little margin of error there for me. So just trying to think here where I want to start. So I have taken a white sheet of cardstock, and I cut this heart out with my Cricut. If you don't have a Cricut, you could just draw a heart with pencil and cut it out. And then I've done a little bit of stitching around the outside of the heart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bunch of strips, or a bunch of strips, pardon me, strips of paper, all different ones from the pack, And that's going to be my background behind my heart. So I'm going to adhere that onto my background sheet like that, and we're going to like work all our way down. So that's going to go right about there. I'm not really sure what the easiest way is to do this, so we're just going to go ahead, see how it goes. So I am about 1.25 inches in from this side, just so that I know where to lay it back down. Guess I didn't measure the top though, did I? I think it was about there. Yeah, right about there. Then this one is going to be next. It's the full 12 inches. I didn't cut that one down. I probably could cut a little bit off of there. I'm going to cut half an inch, I guess. And then that's going to go about there. So I'm at 8.5. Or pardon me, 7.5 at the bottom of my strip. And it doesn't have to be exact. My next one is some hearts there. That's going to come down about there. I just want to make sure this piece is centered because I have that little cutout piece there. I just want to make sure it's totally covering each side of our heart. And let's see if we're going straight. Pretty close. There we go. And then we have this stripe pattern. I really like this one. That one's full length as well. I'm going to just trim off 1/2 inch. I think that'll go about there. Let's see. That looks pretty good there. So I'm at about 5.25. And next I have taken a piece of two-tone cardstock. Let me just double check. I think this is Strawberry Slush. It is. I have embossed it with the embossing folder that coordinates with the suite, and then I just went over it with a little sanding block so that some of that white would show through. Not a ton of this paper is going to show once I get my pictures on, but that's all right. I like it. So you can see there on the back that it is quite a bit lighter, and that is going to go like that. I'm not going to press it down super hard because I have to tuck my next one in underneath. I just want to make sure that it's all the way to the edges, and it is. And then our next one is this. Because I want that white torn edge to show. There we go. So we're going to tuck that up there. Like that. And before I really press that down, I'm just going to double check again. Looks good. It can all go down. And then I've got a small strip of our X and O. Oh, our hearts are directional. That's one thing we want to watch on all of the little pieces. Make sure we get them going the right direction. Not sure how much space I have left here. Oh yeah. I actually have 2 more pieces left, so I have put that down a little further than I should have, but it is what it is. We might have one less strip than I had planned. I'm going to pull that up a bit, so just a smidge of that X and O paper is going to show. That's okay. And then I have this to go last. I can cut this down quite a bit. Just that little teeny tiny tip is going to show. I'm just going to cut off about 1.5 inches. And we're going to tuck that under there. Just making sure that I've got it right in the center because my heart is centered here. Just like that. So then I think what I want to do is I've pulled out somewhere here. Here they are. These are foam adhesive strips. They're great for if you want to do shaker cards, things like that. And I'm thinking of putting that all the way around so that this white part is popped up. Because of the stitching, it's going to stick up a little ways anyway, so I can even it out by putting the strip all the way around here. The other thing I have to add to my background is I've taken that Happy Valentine's Day and I have embossed it with black on some vellum. So because I've got all these different layers, including some embossed piece, I couldn't just stamp right onto my background. And I really wanted this kind of to look like it was right on my background. So I decided to do vellum. And it ends up looking pretty neat once I put my photos over here, because you can still see it through the background. I think I'm going to lay that down first before I put my adhesive strips. And as long as everything is straight back there, I think it is. That is right about where I want it. And then my photos are going to go here. I have 2 photos for this one. So it's going to be right up close to the tip. And we want to make sure that we put our adhesive just on the outside. You don't want to put any adhesive where it's going to show, because it will show through the through the vellum. So I think what I'll do is kind of just, I have some tear and tape here, and I am just going to use that just like regular tape and just tape it down on the edge. Yeah, that'll work. There's a little bit sticking over here. I'll just cut that off. Not much of it would have shown because my white's wider, but that's okay. So that's going to layer over top like that. So I'm going to put these strips around on the outside. Oh, that was too. And put another little piece right here. That one was shorter. All right, so I'm going to peel the backing off these. Actually, before I adhere that, I'm going to add a little bit onto the back of here. A few pieces. Down here where we have quite a bit of open space. Up there. You can use scissors on these too. I find it just as easy to tear them. Does stretch them out a little bit, but they work all right. Okay, I'll bring this piece back in and get it centered on my board here. And then we're just going to lay this down. I'm going to stand up so I can see a bit better. Oh, yeah, this is the hardest part. There we go. And that is why I cut that base piece smaller, just so it doesn't have to be perfectly lined up. If it was a little bit crooked, then I have some room for error there. Awesome. Okay, there's our background. I love it. So, so pretty. So the pictures that I'm using today are from 2020. Alan and I took a little weekend away for Valentine's Day. So I'm just going to add these to some red mats. just used Real Red photo mats. This one I have made a little bit bigger, so it kind of mimics a Polaroid photo. And then I've just added my date down there with one of those adjustable date stamps. I just got that off of Amazon. So this is going to go here, and this is going to go here. One thing to keep in mind with these is they are a little bit thicker than our regular dimensionals. Well, quite a bit thicker, like almost double. So, you know, these are the dimensionals that come in our kits, and they're not exactly the same either. They are a smidge thinner as well. So these are quite thick because they're intended for shaker cards, and you want to have lots of room in there. So when you're using dimensionals on your page, like I want this to lay flat, so I want to use these same dimensionals on the rest of my project so that it lays flat. And then I'll just put a little bit of flat adhesive in this corner. Gonna go there. That's gonna go like that. And so I'm gonna do just flat adhesive, and I'm just not gonna put any on that very corner there. Oh, I have a hair in the way. I'm not going to push that down in this corner because I do have some little embellishments that I'm going to be tucking underneath. So I've cut out with my die some hearts. This one here, let me show you that. Oh, they're not in here. Here they are on my desk. That's this one here, and then I've just used my scissors and cut off the little tag at the top. And that's gonna go there, and then I've also done one in that same two-tone cardstock, and then did the same thing, run it through the embossing folder, and then used my sanding block to sand off a little bit of the color so some of that white shows through. So I'm gonna lay this one down. And then this one is going to layer over top. I think I'll just put it on flat. Oh, this one actually tucks underneath everything. How do I want that? Kind of like that. Oh, I got adhesive on my table. And that's going to kind of go like that. There we go. I've cut out some X's and O's. And that I'm going to lay right on my photo, kind of in that extra empty white space there. Go. All right, what else? I did stamp one of those arrows from Love Story, and I embossed it with black as well. I just find it so much sharper when you do it right in the black, or in the embossing powder instead of just stamping with black. And then I did one of the arrows from these dies. I also did some smaller ones as well. Gonna add those in. And then I just cut this little collection of hearts in a bunch of different colors. Or I guess maybe just in 2 different colors. I did bubble bath and red, real red. So those I'm just kind of gonna add wherever, here and there. I also stamped out I Adore You in the I embossed it in black as well. That's from Love Story. Maybe I better put that on first because I don't want that to cover our faces. So that's going to come down here, and then our arrows will go here somewhere. I think I'll pop this one up. So is this a suite that you would buy, or did you get this suite, or any of the bits and pieces from it? I have to admit, it's like one of my favorite ones. I love it. I've done so much with it. And pretty much, I think all of my examples are the colors in the suite. They're all pinks and reds, but you could very easily change up the colors to some blues or greens to make a card for, you know, your husband or boyfriend or whoever. Make it a little more masculine. If that's what you want. There we go. Okay, so then I'm going to put a cluster up here. And I have cut out another one of those, but this one I left the tab on. And I'm going to add a bow there. And then I really liked this heart. I just think it's super pretty. So I cut it out in black to bring some of the black up to the top of the layout. And then I like the stripes, so I'm going to add a striped heart there. So this one, we're going to need some liquid glue. I should have used adhesive sheet on there, but I forgot. Just want to grab my silicone mat. And carefully add some little glue dots to this. I usually end up with white glue everywhere. There we go, not too bad. So that one's going to lay down first. And then we're going to lay this one down. So I could put a little bit of dimensional there, but I think I'll just do flat adhesive across the top, and that should be fine. I'm sure it will hold just fine. And then this one I might pop up. And there we go. So we're going to add that there. And then I went ahead and made my bow already, just because sometimes it's easier off camera than on camera. So I've used a bunch of things. I used the, whoopsie, put my elbow right in my glue. Faux linen ribbon. This is in Bubble Bath, and this is a part of the suite as well. And then I've just used some black twine that comes in the Essentials pack, so that is current. This red and white, I'm not actually sure if that one's current or not. That was in my stash, and then the other pink twine, that was in my stash as well. So always just look through what you have and try to use up your little bits and pieces. The pink was actually just a little scrap piece that I had sitting on my desk in my little scrap jar bowl, I guess. There we go. It's always nice to use up those little bits so you have room in your craft room for all the new things. There we go. I'm going to add one of these Bubble Bath hearts because other than my ribbon, I don't have a lot of Bubble Bath at the top. This is nice and close to the top, so that's good. But I'll have to tuck that underneath because I popped it up. It's nice to add a little bit more of that color up to the top of the layout. And then I do have a couple little arrows that I wanted to put here. So I was kind of thinking of overlapping, but that won't really work because this is popped up. I could, actually, I do have black dimensionals. And they're mini too. So I could do that. Because there's that little detail on the end of the arrow, if you put a white dimensional behind it, you might actually see it. If we use this black one, and then just a glue dot on the other end. Oh. There we go. And that one I'll do the same. I can't believe how fast the weeks are flying by. Like, I feel like it's going to be Valentine's Day in no time at all. And I'm going to add another little Bubble Bath heart. Yeah, I'll just put that right there. And I've got one red one here. Whoops. I'm going to add a glue dot to that. I'll just tuck that there. I do have some journaling to add. And I've done some journaling strips, and those I did in Bubble Bath, and I'm just going to put those here. And it just says, Al and I had a great weekend exploring downtown London and trying all the amazing restaurants. We ate at the Keg, Church Key, Toboggan Brewery, and Moxie's. I think we stayed 2 nights. I was actually kind of hard for me to remember. But I think we stayed 2 nights, and I remember we walked a lot. We walked from the Keg, which is north end of town, like down to like the downtown area where our hotel was. And it was snowing, like just a little bit of snow, and it was so pretty. But I didn't take any pictures of it, but I do remember doing that. And I remember it being such a long walk. Oh, out of dimensionals. Or out of glue dots, pardon me. There we go. I usually do my strips in white, but I thought it'd be kind of fun since I was using a white background just to add them in. These do not come off very well in a different color. These ones must be a lot stickier. Alrighty. There we go. I think I might add a few of these. I really like the little envelopes in there with the little red heart. It's so cute. And then there's some kissy lips too. I've used a lot of the hearts of these embellishments, but not a lot of the other stuff. I did share this morning on my Facebook and Instagram the gusseted treat bag, and I did a little shaker window in it. Oh, this I might have to use a glue dot, or like a little dab of glue. But other than for my treat bag, I've just been using the hearts. But the little lips are so cute. So we have, I think, strawberry slush and bubble bath hearts. So which one do I want up there? I think I might do this one. Okay, I think it's going to be easier with some little dab of white glue. So I'm just going to add 2 more over here. Especially the lips, they're just so small. It's hard to use a glue dot. And maybe I'll add a few over here. And a little heart. I think we're good. Alrighty. So let me know in the comments if you have any of this product or if you're thinking of getting this one. I've really, really enjoyed this suite, as I've mentioned a few times. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Feel free to like and follow on YouTube. And I hope you all have a great week, and I will see you next week. Bye.